Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Deep Dive. We've got a really cool topic to explore today, something I think a lot of us in academia are going to find super interesting.
Yeah, this should be good.
So we're talking about academic rankings.
Oh, yeah, those rankings.
Yeah, but we're diving a little deeper than just the usual suspects, the typical lists we're all familiar with.
Right, those can be kind of limited sometimes, right?
Totally. Today's focus is on academicjobs.com, and they've got this new academic rankings initiative that caught our eye.
Interesting. What's the angle here?
Well, it seems like they're trying to take a more well-rounded approach to evaluating success in higher ed, beyond just counting publications and grants.
Okay, I like where this is going already. I think a lot of folks feel like those traditional metrics don't always tell the whole story.
Exactly. And that's what we're going to unpack today. We're going to look at why understanding and engaging with these new rankings could be a really positive thing for, your career, your professional development, and even just that feeling of accomplishment we all crave in our work.
I'm in. Let's dive in.
All right, so first things first, why should anyone even care about another ranking system, right? There are already so many out there.
Right, like how is this one different?
Well, for starters, academicjobs.com is really putting the emphasis on recognizing and celebrating all the different kinds of work that people do in higher ed.
Okay, that's refreshing. Because it really is so much more than just research, right?
Absolutely. And they actually have this great quote on their website that sums it up perfectly. They say, and I'm quoting here, "The academic ranking celebrates the efforts, accomplishments, aspirations, and impact of our higher education professionals who teach research and contribute to the rich, positive fabric of our universities and colleges."
I love that. It really highlights how diverse our contributions are.
Right. And just having that acknowledgement, that recognition of the value you bring to the table, I think that can be so powerful.
It really can. It's like a validation of all the hard work and dedication that we put in.
So let's get into the nitty-gritty. How does this ranking actually work? What makes it different from the traditional ones?
Well, one of the key things they highlight is that they're trying to move beyond conventional metrics.
Okay, what does that mean in practice?
So instead of just focusing on things like publications and grants, they're aiming to capture what they call a broader picture of an academic's engagement impact and contributions to higher education.
So it's not just about how much you publish, but also the quality and reach of your work and how you're involved in the wider academic community.
Precisely. And they're placing a lot of emphasis on engagement and outward focus as much as pure academic success.
I like that. It's about recognizing that there are so many ways to be a successful academic.
Exactly. Think about all the things that don't always show up on a CV. The mentoring you do, the collaborations you build, the public engagement activities, the networks you create. All of that has real value, and it contributes to the overall vibrancy of our field.
And this ranking seems to acknowledge and reward those efforts.
Right. And what's really cool is that they explicitly include some of those less quantifiable aspects, like your professional connections and your willingness to share your work publicly.
That's interesting. So it's not just what you do, but also how you connect with the wider academic community.
Exactly. It's about recognizing that impact and influence can take many forms.
So how do they actually measure all of this? Do they have like a secret formula or something?
Well, they do use an algorithm, but it's not really a secret. They're pretty transparent about the 8 key metrics they consider.
Okay, let's hear it. What are those 8 pillars of academic success according to academicjobs.com?
Sure. So first up, they look at your current purpose and motivation. Basically, this is about where you see yourself going in your career and what drives your work.
Huh. So it's not just about what you've done in the past, but also your aspirations for the future.
Exactly. They're interested in your current focus and your vision for your academic journey.
That's kind of cool. It's forward-looking.
It is. Then they also look at your experience in your field and awards. This is pretty straightforward. It's about acknowledging the length of your involvement in your discipline and any formal recognition you've received.
So basically, they're taking into account your track record and achievements over time.
Yep.
Makes sense.
Yep. And of course, they consider your publication's recent output and past impact.
Ah, so research output is still part of the equation.
It is, but they're looking at it in a more nuanced way. They take into account both your most successful cited academic papers, which speaks to the lasting impact of your work, and the number of papers in the last 2 years to gauge your ongoing research activity.
So it's not just about quantity, it's also about quality and sustained engagement.
Right. And then for those of us who teach, they also incorporate student feedback.
Oh, that's a really interesting addition.
It is. It gives students a voice in the evaluation process and provides valuable insights into your teaching effectiveness.
I like that. It makes it more holistic.
And then there's affiliate influence rankings of peers collaborating institutions.
Okay, so this is where those connections and networks come in.
Exactly. They're acknowledging that who you work with and the institutions you're affiliated with can have an impact on your overall reach and influence.
So it's not just about you as an individual, but also the strength of your collaborations and the reputation of your institutions.
Right. And then there's willingness to engage publicly, which speaks to your efforts to share your work and make it accessible to a wider audience.
So things like giving talks, presenting at conferences, writing for a broader public.
Exactly. It's about demonstrating your commitment to disseminating knowledge and engaging in broader intellectual conversations.
And the last metric.
Last but not least, they look at your digital footprint, how active you are online, the reach and engagement of your online presence.
Makes sense in today's digital age.
Absolutely. So all of these metrics are fed into an algorithm, which then generates your overall ranking.
Sounds pretty sophisticated.
It is. But the important thing is that it's designed to be objective and data-driven.
Okay, so this is all very interesting, but let's get down to brass tacks. Why should our listeners care? What's in it for them to get their academic ranking?
Well, I think there are a few key benefits. First of all, it can give you a really valuable sense of where you stand within your field.
Like a benchmark.
Exactly. It can show you how your work is being perceived and how you stack up against your peers.
Okay, and how might that be useful?
Well, for one thing, it can help you identify areas where you might want to focus your efforts.
You mean like if you see that your public engagement score is low, you might want to consider doing more outreach activities.
Exactly. Or if you see that your recent publications are not having as much impact as you'd like, you might want to think about targeting different journals or collaborating with different researchers.
So it's a tool for self-reflection and professional development.
Absolutely. And beyond that, it can also be a great way to showcase your accomplishments to others.
You mean like on your CV or website?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Having a strong academic ranking can really enhance your professional profile and make you stand out from the crowd.
Especially since it goes beyond those traditional metrics. It shows a more well-rounded picture of your contributions.
Right. It can be a great conversation starter when you're networking or applying for jobs.
So it's like a signal to potential collaborators, employers, or even students that you're someone who's engaged, impactful, and making a real difference in your field.
Precisely. And let's not forget that one of the big focuses of this ranking is public engagement. So the more visible you are, the more opportunities you're likely to attract.
Oh, that's a great point. So getting a good ranking could actually lead to more collaborations, speaking invitations, and even media attention.
Exactly. It can really help you amplify your impact and get your work in front of a wider audience.
So what's the call to action here? What do we want our listeners to do?
Well, I think the best way to really understand the value of this ranking is to experience it firsthand.
So go get your ranking.
Exactly. Head over to academicjobs.com, create a profile, and see where you stand. It's free and easy to do, and you might be surprised by what you discover.
And who knows, it could open up a whole new world of possibilities for you.
Absolutely. It's a chance to really take ownership of your academic identity and showcase the unique value you bring to the table.
Well said. So to wrap things up, we've been talking about academicjobs.com's new academic rankings initiative, which takes a much broader and more holistic view of what it means to be successful in higher ed.
It's about celebrating all the different ways we contribute to our field
Yeah.
and recognizing the impact we have beyond just publications and grants.
And we think it's a really valuable tool for self-reflection, professional development, and even career advancement.
So if you're curious to see where you stand and how you can leverage your unique strengths to achieve even greater success in academia, we encourage you to go to academicjobs.com and get your ranking today.
Great advice. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the world of academic rankings. We'll see you next time.
See